Namaste. Welcome to Inspiring Women. Our special guest for today's episode of Inspiring Women is Her Excellency Noha Elgebaly, the Ambassador of the Arab Republic of Egypt to Nepal. Welcome to the show, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad and honored to be interviewed at your show.
Today, Egypt celebrates the 70th National Day. How has Egypt's independence from the colonial rule shaped its position in the world scenario?
Well, actually, yes. Today we are commemorating the 70th anniversary of our 23rd of July revolution. This revolution is actually a unique historical and model for solidarity between people and their leaders in their aspiration for independence and prosperity. This revolution has played an important role not only on the national level but also on the regional and international level. On the national level, of course, we were able to obtain our full and unconditional independence in the year 1954. Moreover, we adopted a very ambitious economic and social strategy. We managed to make milestone achievements regarding social equality, women's rights, development, free education and health services for everyone. On the regional and international level, the revolution was not just an inspiration for other developing countries, but also supported these countries in their struggle for liberation, independence, and economic development.
What is the starting point of the Nepal-Egypt bilateral relations and how has it progressed over time?
The starting point was in July 1957. So actually this year we are commemorating the 65th anniversary of our bilateral relations. Egypt was the first Arab and African countries to have resident diplomatic mission in Kathmandu, and until now it's the only African embassy in Kathmandu. Our relations were always based on friendliness, mutual support and mutual understanding for each other's interests and goals. We are always looking forward to enhancing these relations because we all believe that there is a lot of potential in these relations. In the year 2007, commemorating the 50th anniversary, the Golden Jubilee of our bilateral relations, we signed an MOU to establish the political consultation mechanism between the two countries. It covers all aspects of bilateral relations, and we are looking forward to holding the second round this year.
What are the key areas of focus of cooperation between Nepal and Egypt?
There are many areas of cooperation between the two countries, including trade, tourism, people-to-people exchange. Nowadays, a very significant area of cooperation is the scholarships that Egypt offers to Nepali people. We offer 35 annual scholarships, whether for students, also workshops, especially in the area of agriculture. Currently, we have 100 Nepali students studying at the Egyptian universities, which are the oldest in the Middle East and among the best in the region.
What are the future plans of cooperation between Egypt and Nepal that are currently under discussion?
We are now working on further deepening our bilateral relations in different areas, among which is the exchange of high and senior official visits. We are currently planning for holding the second round of the consultation mechanism, which will be held in Cairo, hopefully this year. This will be an opportunity to achieve more on our bilateral cooperation through signing more MOUs and more agreements in different areas of cooperation.
Egypt and Nepal are both founder members of the non-aligned movement. What are the major contributions of the two nations to the movement and their outcomes?
Egypt and Nepal were both among the founding members of the non-aligned movement, which was established during the Cold War by developing countries who willed to abstain from allying with either of the superpowers at that time and working on their own national independence, self-determination and national interest. Of course, at that time, the movement had a lot of contribution with regards to independence and self-determination in developing world. Of course, after the end of the Cold War, the movement faced the challenge of reassessing its identity and purpose in the new world order. Ever since, the movement has been working on advocating equality, multilateral cooperation, South-to-South cooperation. That's its way of reassessing its new role after the end of the Cold War. I have a photo to show you. This is President Nasser with King Mahendra during the second summit of the non-aligned movement, which was held in Egypt in 1964.
Nepal and Egypt both have a glorious history in common. What are some of the commonalities you see between our nations today?
We both belong to the old world. We had ancient civilizations that contributed to humanity materialistically and spiritually. Nowadays, we are facing the same global challenges in terms of development, climate change.
Women have played a significant role in shaping the political structure of Egypt in the past, from Mernis to Cleopatra. What are few virtues that women uphold in ancient Egypt?
Egyptian women have been influential and played a significant role in Egypt throughout its long history. Talking about ancient Egypt, as you have just mentioned, we had the first queen back in the year 3000 BC. Ever since, women leaders have played an influential and significant role, whether in their capacity as queens ruling on their own or as queens as wives of the kings. If you go to Luxor, you can see the valley of the queens side to side by the valley of the kings.
While history applauds the great women leaders of Egypt, there are also a few mythologies that create misunderstanding or undermine these women. For example, movies on Cleopatra. What is your take on this? Are there better local versions that can shed better light?
Well, let's agree that drama is not reality, and is not and should not be perceived as a depiction of history. In Egypt, we have a very long documented history. Actually, drama is always influenced by the points of view and visions of its makers. So it's always not the same as reality. We do have our local production in terms of historical movies and teleseries, and some of them are translated to other languages. But yes, as you said, we should work more on that to serve the global audience, to give them a better understanding of history and a more closer to reality approach.
In the 2015 Parliament, there were 89 female representatives. The number increased to 162 in 2020. Can you share with us some of the strategies that Egypt has implemented to increase and to accept the increase of women leaders in the mainstream?
Women movement in Egypt is very old. It's more than 100 years old. Women obtained the right to vote and stand for elections back in 1956, when a new constitution was adopted at that time. And ever since, many efforts, both from the government and from the civil society, have been made to increase the participation of women and to advocate for women equality and rights. Further constitutional and legislative amendments took place in the year 2020 that allowed for more women participation in the parliament. Moreover, the year 2017 was chosen to be the year of the Egyptian woman. Well, it's not only the parliament that has witnessed this development. It's also on the government level. On the cabinet, we have 8 female ministers out of 32. Actually, we have also made constitutional and legislative amendments in the year 2015 to allow for more representation of women in the parliament. Nowadays, women hold senior positions in all legislative, executive, and judicial bodies of Egypt.
one of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations and a flag bearer project of the UN Women is Planet 50-50 by 2030. The number of women parliamentarians in Egypt increased 1.66 times from the 2015 elections to the 2020 elections, and hopefully even more to the 2025 elections and 2030. Do you envision that Egypt's parliament might actually be one of the first to achieve these goals?
We have a very ambitious strategy for women empowerment within our national strategy of Egypt Vision 2030. So why not?
Egypt celebrated the International Day for Women in Diplomacy on June 24th. As a woman with a diplomatic career, do you feel that this would encourage more young women to enter this career and affect global connectivity?
Women have been in diplomacy in Egypt since 1961, and the first lady ambassador was appointed in 1979. Nowadays, our representation in the Foreign Service is almost 30%, which is quite one of the highest in the world. And yes, many young ladies now are looking forward to becoming part of the Foreign Service.
On a personal note, what inspired you to join the field of diplomacy?
Well, I've always been looking forward to participating in representing my country and safeguarding its interests. Moreover, on the personal level, I like to travel, meet people from different cultural backgrounds. So that's what inspired me to study economics and political science and later on join the Foreign Service.
Lastly, how will you carry your country during your next tenure, and what is one visionary idea that you're working on?
Well, I think there is a lot more potential in our relations, that we have to work more on enhancing and strengthening our relations in many fields. We have many fields to explore. We need to work more on people-to-people connectivity. I believe we do have a lot of potential, and I'm committed to work on that.
It was wonderful having you here today. Thank you for being with us. It was an honor.
Thank you very much, and let me express my happiness and honor to represent my country here in Nepal. It's such a warm and lovely country.
Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Hope you have a great week ahead. Namaste.